Hello, Stacy. How are you? Hello, Robert. I'm a little early, but that's okay. You guys understood this afternoon's lesson? Boy, oh boy. I gotta move these drums out. Did we all understand this afternoon's lesson? Okay. Stacy, did you understand today's lesson? You know, I could open up so many different doors and give you so much work in one lesson that, you know, by doing that, it's nice, but it will discourage you, I believe. Okay, but let me just take an example. We were kind of hanging out with Mike Clark's book on the symbol patterns. Instead of the straight up and down. Playing the open time. That's eventually you can get into some modulation like that. But anyway, I did want to wait for everyone else before I got into this. But you know, we'll do it anyway. If you remember when we're doing vamping patterns, the eighth note triplet, and we were playing all the rights on the floor tom-tom. If I played on a cymbal, same thing with this line too. There goes your jazz pattern with the right hand. Do you see that? How you doing, Paul? I'm early, but that's okay. I was just telling everybody understood this afternoon's lesson. Kind of elementary, I guess. We're going to learn Wipeout today. No, just kidding. We were talking, Paul, about Mike Clark's book, The Symbol Patterns. Straight ahead, the broken time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Well, with that, actually, we could expand on that, which, if I open this door for you, you're going to become very discouraged. Because, man, you have to have the drumsticks in your hands constantly. All right, so I'm just going to give you a brief synapse of the whole thing, just a little briefing on some possibilities. Hello, Dennis. For example, I'm not going to play nothing but my ride cymbal. And I'm going to think of line of the stick control book swung, like 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. And I'm going to play all the rights. My bass drum is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. My hi-hat's going to be 2 and 4. And all the rights are going to be on the right cymbal. 1, 2, line 1. 1 and the 2 and the 3, 4. 1 and the 2 and the line 2. 1 and the 2 and the 3. Bop, 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 bop. Line 3. 3, da. 1, 2, line 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, bop. Ba-doo, bop. Now 1, 2, 3, line 5. 1. Bop, do, bop. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you see where I'm getting the right hand on the ride cymbal, guys? You see that? Now we can come up with all formulas between the bass drum and a snare drum, but we're not going to go there. What you want to do is get that left hand going on. Whether you play traditional or German, we're going to play eighth note triplets, like we're going to take that vamp that you were taught, like on a snare drum, and all the rights on the floor tom-tom, like so. 1, 2, 3, 4. What we're going to do is play eighth note triplets constantly with that right hand, a left hand rather, and play with the right hand on the right cymbal. Nice and soft and easy. Line 2. You get the idea, guys? You understand it? It's a whole new ball game there. It's the open time. I rather refer to it as an open time than jazz beats. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. Do you understand that, Paul? What about Billy Gladstone technique? His fingers? Joe Morello studied with him. Billy Gladstone as well. Is that what you were discussing? Fingers? Go over what? Fingers? No, I never went over fingers. You understand that, Paul? It opens up a whole brand new thing. Just for now, take a line at a time. Work that left hand with eighth note triplets, okay? And take all the rights and play them instead of the floor tom-tom. Play them on the right cymbal. Gives you a whole variety of different things, different feels too, as a matter of fact. Like if I took, let me see, take an abstract line. I'm moving this drum set this weekend. Gonna move it up a little bit and rearrange the cameras. Another one bites the dust here. All right, if you open up the stick control book, number 12, 1. Number 9. You have the stick control book, Paul? The fingers? Well, no, we're not ready for fingers, Jimmy. Well, we're doing a Radicue this afternoon. When I do fingers, I take everything from the wrist, and the wrist help my fingers. I cannot, because of my left hand, the disability, I can't do this with my left hand. If I could, my singles would be, rocketing, man. Do you understand that, Paul? You have stick control book. Look at line 9. All right? 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 1 to 2, 3 to 4. Instead of 1, 2, it's just a whole different pattern. If I like line 5, 1, 1, 2, da 3, da 4, 1, 2, da 3, and da 4, and da 1, and da 2. Let me slow it down and just play the triplets on the snare drum and play the rights instead of the 4 on the right. That's what Jimmy, Ingedemonger, Billy Gladstone, Joe Morello studied with him. Okay, Billy Gladstone, excellent drummer. Joe Morello studied with the guy Sachek in Boston, and George Lawrence Stone. And then for fingers, he went to, what you call, Billy Gladstone. Dennis. That's what I'm doing, Dennis. All right, let me start. I started early. That's the reason why. If you look at the stick control book, line 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're going to take line 1, swung. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right, so what we're going to do now, instead of play, we're going to eliminate the lefts and just play the rights. That interpretation on the right cymbal. The first line would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and line 2, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3. Line 3, 1 and 2 and 3, dap, jab, bap. Line 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Line 5, 1, 2, dap, You see it now, Dennis? That's the ride patterns. Jimmy, fingers, you have a question mark. You're not sure what you're asking. Go over, hey Matt, hanging with another drummer totally said something about Billy Gladstone technique. All right, Billy Gladstone technique, primarily fingers. Billy Gladstone was primarily a marimba, xylophone, timpani player. And that's what Portraits in Rhythm, that's Cerrone. But he taught a finger technique, utilizing the fingers. And like Morello used to be able to play a paradiddle, which is with the left hand. He had that down smacking, man. I can't do that. It's not because I don't know how it operates. My physical being right now with that left hand is unable to do it. But if you were going to play a paradiddle, say with your one hand, then you're going to utilize two fingers here. See them? Let me put them up like that. Maybe you can see them. These two fingers. And my fulcrum is on the thumb. See it? Like that. So I'm going to go like this. If I play the I'm going to go one with the back finger like that. And like that. Then two and. Can you hear a paradiddle in there, that little bit? Mr. Old Dog, how are you, sir? Okay, we were just doing we're kind of expanding a little bit on the concept of Mike Clark's open time. Get some ideas. You can take the stick control book, all the rights, just play them on the ride cymbal, thinking of a syncopated feel. Line 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, ba-ba-doo, bow, ba-ba-doo, bing. Line number 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 3 to 4, 1 to 2, 3 to 4. Line 5, bop, boo, bop, ba, da, boo, bop, ba. Now you're becoming very musical, but if you heard me just hum that, you see that my right hand was hitting the melody line. Bop, boo, da, da, bang, ja, boo, ba, ba, da. So we're gonna go. These are tough. Like I said to everybody before, if I start opening this door for you, the only thing that should be in your hands besides a fork and a knife and all that good stuff, all right? let's not go there right now, okay? He plays really fast. Thanks, Matt. Who plays really fast? The drummer that you were hanging with or Billy Gladstone? Who? Jim? When you play with your fingers, it increases your speed, but it still comes from the wrist. The wrists have to be relaxed. It's not as loud, there's not as much momentum when you're playing singles with the fingers, but yeah, you play faster, without a doubt. But that's not what it's about. That's not what music's about. So tell me, Jimmy, when you say faster, what do you mean? The drummer. All right, no, I know the drummer. He plays really fast. Sure. Does he use his fingers? I have students that are faster than me with their singles. Look at that gentleman that stopped by the other day. Oh, boy. What's his name again? All these students I have, I can't remember the name. He was in that single stroke roll contest, and Mike Portnoy, they beat him out by, I think, 2 singles. That's fast. This guy was an animal. I don't think I've ever seen anybody faster with single strokes. The drummer. Yeah, he was using fingers. There's no power there. It's a great technique. It aids the wrist. It helps the wrist. I use fingers occasionally, but I do fingers a little bit differently with my left hand. You want to see somebody's left hand move, go watch Tommy Igoe's video. He has that left hand thing down. He learned that from a drum corps guy. Oh, I forgot his name as well. Sometimes I can't remember my wife's name. But this is my finger technique right here. Well, you can't see that. Let me see if I can bring it to you. There you go. All right, now, here's what I do with my finger. This finger's accepting the rebound. The rebound comes back. Hey. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bop. I'm out of shape to do that, Jim. But yeah, the finger thing is definitely, you're not playing with a blast beat guy or heavy metal. You know, you have to have power. There's no power with fingers. It's light. Ding, da, da, da. That's what everybody used to say about Morello until they went to see him and they watched him play. Yeah, he plays like a wimp. He's got fingers, you know. Worked at the bank. What worked at the bank? The fingers? I don't know. I missed that, old dog. Anyway, Robert, Stacy, Jim, Dennis, Paul, do you all understand that concept with the ride cymbal? 1, 2, from the stick control book. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1. Line 3. 4, 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 1. Yeah, well, that's a Tommy Igoe. What was the drummer's name? That was Tommy Igoe did that. He learned that from a drum corps guy. He was playing, I think, like this, I believe. I can't do it. I can't control my fingers with my left hand. You can't. What was his last name? That's right, Stacy. What's oh yeah? Tommy Igoe? What is oh yeah, Robert? Jimmy, you disrupted my whole lesson now with the finger exercises. I understand who you're excited about. You've never seen anybody use that kind of technique, and that's good. Look at Tommy Igoe. I forgot the guy who taught him. He was at the head of the drum lines in the DCI. You eliminate the lefts and just play the rights on the ride cymbal. And when you're doing that, you're counting eighth note triplets, 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda, 4 enda, and you're playing the left foot, heel and toe. Heel on 1 and 3, toe on 2 and 4. Now you could play as an exercise, nothing musical yet, with any pattern like that with the right hand against the eighth note triplet with the left hand on the snare drum, still playing 2 and 4. Just playing 2 and 4 with the hi-hat. You know, you sit there, and I mean, you're going to have a hell of a left hand. I mean, if you're going to do that, you could do it open-handed, but, you know, just do it like this for now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, excuse me. 1. Come on, left. Dennis, do you understand that? Paul, do you understand it? Paul, Dennis, speak to me. Stacy understands it, but nice and easy. You know, we're not pounding it like we're playing a Neil Peart tune, you know, or a heavy metal tune, or who, Mike Portnoy and all these. How they must go through drum heads, man, dense in them. I remember I had a drum show here with, I don't know, about 80 students. And I had some guys come up and play at the show, and they were students of mine. They got on the drum set, and I had brand new heads. They get off, I go back on the drum set, I see all these dents in the drums, in the drum head. There's no need to hit that hard. Like I said before, if you hit that hard, you're going to choke the sound and choke the drum. Well, Jimmy, there's some great players out there that are 9,000 miles an hour. But when you're playing a ballad, the left-hand thing with the fingers don't really matter. It's just a technique he's gotten down. Ask him to do paradiddles. Ask him to double paradiddles. Ask him to do radamucus. Ask him to just do the table of time. It's not going to happen. Okay? So that's, you know, that's just opening up some new ideas for you. But if you do the eighth note triplets, you could actually, I don't have my brushes, but you can do that with brushes. Brushes will work the hell out of your left hand. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get to that tomorrow afternoon. 5, 4. Any questions? Well, Billy Gladstone is a fixture in the drum community, Jimmy. Billy Gladstone taught Morelli, went for the fingers with him. Not for very long, because there's nothing really, you know, insane about it. I can't move my hands right now. I'm just out of shape, I'm tired, and I'm old. And poor. And I'll tell you right now, that the single at 9,000 miles an hour is not going to get you a gig. And if you can't apply it to the music, it's not going to do you any good. But if you apply singles all the time to the music, you're going to sound pretty shallow. It's a good technique to understand. It helps. Anything helps. Billy Gladstone. Okay, I give you guys too much work. You want to do a little bit of a review right now? I just opened some doors with you in less than 2 minutes. Now you got a ton of work to do. Agreed? Would you like to go over anything that you're not really certain of, or you want to make sure that you're doing it correctly? Anything. Dennis. You know who I haven't seen today? Mr. Mante, Hoist. I wonder what happened to him. He's usually here 1 o'clock and 7 p.m. I like that when Merlo does it with his hands. Please, anybody in the chat? Any reviewing of anything? Slam tap and eighth note triplet formation. I understand. How about you understand? How about Radamecues? All right, we did that this afternoon. There was the single, the double, and the triple. Okay, and I don't like the way. Who am I? But anyway, I have a right to my opinion. I do not like the way it was presented in the Buddy Rich book. I mean, it does work, but I think that's just, it's not the same thing as what a real Radamecue is. I showed it to you, the single Radamecue, in eighth note triplets and a quarter note. An eighth note triplet and a quarter note, as you see that as a 4-stroke rough. But if I do the Radamecue, let's work on it without the 2 little grace notes. And I like to nail the accent on the last stroke of the Radamecue. 1 and the 2. See that, old dog? 1 and the 2 and the. Then the hand I end with is the hand I begin the next one with. Now I put a duple or a drag in front of the triplet. That's the one hand. Slow it down. Now remember how I counted the double? Did the 1 and the 2. Did the 3 and the 4. You understand? That's what I'm doing. The Radamecues there, old dog. 1 and the 2. Then you add a duple. Want me to break that down a little bit more, old dog? That's a single because you only have a one drag. The double's 2 drags. The triple, 3. You understand it? Single, double, triple. Come on, left hand. Double. That's with the accent on the last stroke. I don't like to play it on the first stroke. The triple. So single has 1 drag. Double 2. Now, when I'm playing the single, I'm thinking of 2-4 or 4-4. 1 and the 2, 3 and the 4. 1 and the 2, 3 and the 4. The double, I'm thinking 3. 1, 2 and the 3. And the triple, I'm back to 4. 1, 2, 3 and the 4. Number 1, 2, and 3. Let me see what the hell that is. What is this thing about speed tonight, Jimmy? 21 years old. Huh. 1, 2, and 3. Well, if he was doing them fast, he was not thinking 1 and the 2 and the 3, 4. He was thinking. Was that what he was doing with the right cymbal? As opposed to 1, 2, 3, 4. He was playing them up tempo like. Was that what he was doing? At 120, it's nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you say fast, I'm thinking something else. That's not in here, Jim. So he wasn't doing Mike Clark's thing. He was just playing a jazz pattern fast. You're at 120. He's at 120. What is 120? Ding, dong, dong, dong. 1, 2, 3. That's not fast. When you say fast, I'm thinking of this. So he's playing up tempo like that. So what? What does that mean? That's not fast. I'm just thinking, I'm playing that, but I'm thinking about it differently. I'm actually thinking of that in 2. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. That's 4. I can think 1 yen, 2 yen, 3 yen, 4 yen, 1 yen, 2 yen, 3 yen, 4. It's a different feel. It's a different thing. It's not open and swung and happening like ding, chong, jing, ding, jing, jong. It's a totally different thing. I will show you the difference next lesson. Yes, up tempos. Man, these guys are going to stop off the crack and all that shit. Does anybody else here understand what Jimmy and I were just discussing? Any questions about that? Sometimes Jimmy's pretty vague. He's at 120 and he's at 60, huh? Line 2 is just all you're doing. Line 2, oh my Lord. At 120? That's not a problem. Line 2 is nothing. You're playing quarter notes. You're playing 2 and 4. What is that? I mean, that's a circus beat if you ask me. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's line 2. To me, that's a circus beat. It's a march coming down the street. It don't swing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know what you're talking about sometimes, Jim. I think I do. I'm sorry if I don't. So line 2 with the snare is just quarter notes. That's all it is. If I do it slow, 1, 2, to 3, 4, the 1, 2, to 3, 4. That's all it is. What's the problem? Up tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, 4 and 1, 2. That's on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3. What's so fast about that? Is that what you're talking about, Jimmy? Old dog, do you understand that? Paul, Stacy, Bob. You said line 2, Jim. There you go, all right. We'll talk on the phone about that, all right? All right, anyway, I did open some doors for you. I'm going to elaborate on that soon. Just get the simple patterns down. We're not going into speed. Speed means nothing. Okay? Just showing off. He's got Jimmy all hyped up. Yeah, man, the kid played fast. So what? What does that mean? Inga da banga da boonga da binga. All right. Chapter 3, line 2. What are you doing in chapter 3? Oh, Lord, let me check it out. You did, okay. Line 3, chapter 3. Let me see which one you're talking about. Which one is it? What line? Line 2. All right. You already know this. I've given you this. What's the problem? All that is... all right. Line 3. Ay, I think it's like... Is that what the one you're talking about, Jimmy? Is that the one you're talking about? Chapter 3. This one. Nice and slow. Well, if you practiced it, you'd have it just as fast as he has it. I've given that to you about months ago. Remember R, this one? I think it's the third one in stick control formulas. Is that the one, Jimmy? So you should know this. Remember I gave you the one surface exercise? 1 and R becomes 1 and L becomes da, boo, da. So now you're doing line 1 in the stick control book. 1, 2, 3. Now all you're doing is doing a substitution, and you should know this. I'm doing it slow for you. What's the problem? Ain't nobody gonna play that real fast. You know, you get to a certain point. I mean, I haven't worked on that in ages, but you have that in the book. You have that. All the variables from the stick control book drive you crazy. Well, work on it, Jim. What do you think about it? So let's everybody talk their piece here. All right? Paul, what do you think about that? Playing it fast. What's your concept, your approach? Old Dog and Robert, Stacy, Dennis. Leave some commentary in the chat. Well, it's an exercise, but if you want to make it musical, all it is, you're doing quarter note triplets with the right foot. When you're doing alternating line 1, you're doing quarter note triplets with the right foot and quarter note triplets with the left hand, but in a different place. So, who's the guy go to Berkeley or what? You don't know his name. You should have got his name and say hello. Guys, what do you think about that? Come on. What do you mean you lose the technique? Then that means you got to go a little bit backwards there, Paul. You know, repetition sometimes, man, it's boring. But if you're having a problem with it, and if you're at a certain tempo, you feel comfortable, and you notch it up just a little bit, and now you start to fall apart, come back to that tempo you're comfortable with. Get that strong, and then move it up a few more notches. You'll see. And if you do that for a period of time, you'll be playing it fast. I've been playing it for 100 years, you know? You've been playing it, what, for a year, 2 years? So I don't know how you lose the technique. You got to count that particular one first. Then we're going to start to hum stuff like that. Neither am I, Stacy. Absolutely, Robert. Well, what happens, okay, like I said, remember, everybody wants to get fast. I did a demonstration one time of singles, maybe at 190 or whatever. And I don't really practice speed, but when my hands are loose, I can make it once in a while. But it don't accomplish anything. My whole thing is, if you don't have control, which means you need to play it slow, you're not going anywhere. It's going to fall apart somewhere. Oh, there's nothing wrong with setting your timer for 6 years. No, a couple of like 5 minutes and just hit it here. It's boring. It's boring. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Do that for a period of time without a mistake. Set a timer. Set your goal. Say 2 minutes. Set the timer for 2 minutes. You start it. You make one mistake before the 2-minute thing is out. Do it again. Then take a 15-second, 30-second break and keep doing it again at the same tempo. And if you make a mistake, go back to the beginning of it. You do that for about a week or two. You see how you improve on that. And I like that, Stacy. I'm not setting any speed records, nor am I. You're playing for the music. He's a no-name kid. What's the difference? I'm a no-name person. So what? He has a passion to play the drums, but I believe that because he's demonstrating something fast, he's got some psychological things going on when he's with another drummer. Trying to show off is one thing I could see from that. Berkeley. I don't know who's teaching at Berkeley right now. Some Italian guy, I believe. No, he's not there no more. Mark Walker. I mentioned him in the past. He's done a show here. He's going to be doing another show. We had one scheduled, but now everything fell apart because of the virus. So I don't know. Maybe sometime in July, if he's free, we'll do a show. He's a professor at Berkeley, and he wants to take lessons with me. Some of the technique from Joe, and that's a compliment. The guy's an accomplishment. He plays his ass off, man. I had a lot of students from Berkeley. I really did. And remember, Gary Shafee. He was the head of the department at Berkeley College of Music for after he got his tenure, I believe, and then he actually legitimately retired from everything. But because he was in such demand as a teacher, he had to just come out of retirement and start teaching again privately. Now, Paul, you did you see that, Paul, in the Gary Shafee book? I mean, the Gary Shafee room. Yeah, you got to do it slow. And Robert's really a good guy, man. Robert's helpful. All right. Jimmy, I'm going outside for a cigarette. When I come back in, I'm going to call you. Okie dokie. Who's Euron Israel? Jimmy, you okay tonight? Euron, is that the guy's name? Euron Israel. All right. Any questions? Yes, no, before I sign off? I gotta stop doing some yard work here, man. That's killing me. I'm too old for that. Okay, time to sign off. No questions.